崽子，你真没见过黑社会哈！操你妈的！敢不敢给我说屁话？操你妈！操你妈！
Shit, is that rolling? Hey, what's happening, fuckers? As you can probably tell, I've got myself in a pickle. I'm guessing I've upset the locals on my trip to Shanghai. God knows how. That'd explain why I was politely escorted into the boot of a Wuling sunshine and taken to a black site. So I find myself here, and I'll be real, lads. I hope those letters mean something different in China, or I'm in for a bad time. Anyway, while I get this sorted, let's take a look at Kane Lynch 2. Dog Days, a game released 15 years ago, that's unlike anything else I've experienced. So, let's get into it. Released back in 2010 by IO Interactive, the studio behind both the Hitman series and the original Kane Lynch. Kane Lynch 2 Dog Days is a third-person shooter, which combines cover-based shooting, intense and dizzying visuals, and a feeling of just following orders in Bosnia in 1994. In this game, set in the glorious People's Republic of China, you follow the most miserable duo in gaming, as they are chased through the streets of Shanghai by both mercenaries and the Chinese police, after a small misunderstanding in the prologue, and after Lynch broke content guidelines on Red Note. Gameplay offers the standard fare for the period, providing levels that consist of a series of rooms, filled with chest-high walls, people to shoot, and things to shoot these people with, over the course of 10 levels. The game offers the classic range of weapons, like your standard pistols and rifles, SMGs that make a really funny noise when used, and perhaps the most hilariously busted shotgun I've ever used in any game ever. It also claims not to target any race or religion in particular, focusing instead on targeting your eyes with all the bright lights bouncing off Lynch's balding head.
No. I've had to say this a few times now, but this is the final time that I will say this. Shut up about my head. It is normal. It is a nice head.
As has been alluded already, Dog Days' presentation is fundamental to the type of game it is, and is worth focusing on. Because to put it bluntly, this game looks like it was recorded on a Nokia, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. The graphics are purposefully unpleasant, with the violent shaking of the camera, the various visual glitches and effects, and a game world that overall just feels grim. I throw around comparisons to Live Leak frivolously sometimes, but that's what Dog Days looks like. Either that, or it captures how it feels to be drunk in a McDonald's at 3 AM. If the graphics set the foundations, then the sound design is particularly fun. With a score consisting of dark droning ambience, Dog Days crafts an incredibly oppressive atmosphere, a subtle nod to the fact that Lynch is what medical professionals would dub, fucked in the head. This is paired with punchy and visceral sound design, like the constant noise of bullets on concrete, or explosions that sound like god shitting. It's quite intense. Combined with the visuals, the experience is almost brilliantly unpleasant, a bit like flying on a low-budget airline.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday, and right now, you can save up to £240 for a family of 4.
Dog Days suffers from numerous issues, which probably explains why it was received negatively by critics, at least partially, that in the movement making players feel sick. These issues vary, from the camera, which can make it hard to aim when it's going mental, to the controls, which arbitrarily decides a wall doesn't count as cover, to the AI, for both friendlies and enemies, which is so incredibly smooth-brained it's comical. Dog Days suffers from an overall lack of polish, which should be unsurprising for a game that looks like it was left in your trouser pocket during a wash. Additionally, the game suffers from numerous technical issues, at least on the PC version, whether it be crashing to a black screen, which it did a couple of times, or the occasional freezes, both during gameplay and in cutscenes. It's not a game that runs flawlessly. It also lacks a windowed mode, so I had to install an external program to fix that. The most interesting glitch, however, just beating out this part with the haunted cabinet, was when the game froze completely, apart from letting me use the camera. Felt like I'd somehow entered photo mode. I mean, look how happy he is with it.
I hate the fucking place! I fucking hate it! It's full of dickheads! I fucking hate it! Yeah! Wait for this one, I'm fucking pissed off!
Despite these faults, I can't say that I came out of Kane Lynch to hating it, because Dog Days set out to differentiate itself from the standard mid-2000s third-person shooter, and it achieves that aim. It does a great job of delivering an intentionally uncomfortable experience. All of the characters are terrible, the story is fucking bleak, and the setting is as cheery as a family trip to Margate. Not since playing Hong Kong 97 back in 2020, have I played a game that goes out of its way to be so intentionally abrasive, and I couldn't help but appreciate that approach in some strange way. beyond the game's artistic merit, if you can call waggling the camera a bunch artistic, there are aspects to the gameplay in Dog Days that I still enjoyed. The game's gunplay has an incredibly satisfying weight to it, especially the first shotgun you collect, which paints enemies with more hit markers than a 2014 montage parody. I also appreciated the breakneck pace that the campaign keeps up, which I suppose isn't difficult, considering it's only about 3 to 4 hours long. It keeps throwing more shit at you, and then has the courtesy to stop, just before you throw up from the shaky camera. Overall, Kane Lynch 2 is an interesting game, and that's probably the nicest thing I can say about it. It's not good by any conventional metric, yet offers such a distinct experience, that it is at least worth a look, if only to see how mental this game gets. Anyway, I'll be off now. I've been hearing some worrying sounds from the other room. Thankfully, it looks like that camcorder is running out of battery, so you won't have to see the horrible shit that's about to go down. So be pleased about that.